He was only a lone father, ending another late shift, praying that he could make it home before his son went to sleep. But fate intervened. Strolling down an otherwise deserted street, he witnessed a woman collapse, a billionaire struggling to breathe as the world rushed along. He didn't blink. He rescued her from death. But what ensued was not thankfulness. It was judgment. Whispers became headlines, and a hero was now a suspect. How could a single act of kindness become an even nightmare? Only because of the color of his skin. Marcus Evans had constructed his world from two things: hard work and his little boy, Jaden. Each morning began before dawn, scrambling breakfast, carefully packing a small lunchbox, and dashing to his work at a downtown hotel. He was not wealthy, but he was proud of each check paid, each smile his son offered him. The city didn't often get to see men like him, intangible laborers who made the city run while only wishing for more. Marcus and Jaden would spend Saturday afternoons sitting by the park fountain, flipping pennies and making wishes that never materialized. That evening felt no different. The sky glowed orange, traffic hummed in the distance, and Marcus, exhausted but hopeful, headed home the same route as always. But fate doesn't announce itself. Sometimes it hides behind a moment that looks ordinary until it changes everything. Marcus didn't bat an eyelid when he saw her fall, a woman in a pricey suit, gripping her chest, wheezing for air alongside her sleek black vehicle. He let go of his grocery cart, ran to her side, and called for assistance with shaking hands. His heart was racing as he did CPR, mumbling, "Come on, hang in there," until the paramedics showed up. When they did, they shoved him away silently. Their eyes were not grateful. They were suspicious. As flashing lights illuminated the street, Marcus moved aside, hands still trembling. One of the officers looked at the billionaire woman, then at him. "Who are you? What were you doing here?" The tone was not questioning. It was accusatory. Marcus attempted to tell them, but his words got all knotted in fear. His son was waiting at home. He hadn't done anything wrong. He just saved a life. But in the world Marcus inhabited, good works didn't necessarily create trust, particularly not from people who saw his color first. A citizen's video landed on social media within hours. A black man kneeling beside a white woman's corpse. No context, no truth, just speculation. The responses came quick, looked suspicious, probably attempting to rob her. The narrative spun before it had even started. By dawn, there were news vans parked in his street. Reporters knocked at the doors. Neighbors peered through curtains. Marcus attempted to keep his son hidden from the commotion, but rumors filtered in. Jaden's teacher inquired at school. Strangers trailed Marcus to the workplace. Even his boss requested him to take a couple of days off, just until things settled down. While that was going on, the billionaire woman recuperated, none the wiser about what was occurring to the man who had rescued her. Marcus considered sitting down and writing to her, telling her all that had transpired. But whenever he reached for his pen, fear inhibited him. What if she wouldn't believe him either? Then came the knock, sharp, heavy, demanding. Two officers stood at his door, faces blank. "We just have a few questions," one said. His son peeked from behind the couch, eyes wide. Marcus nodded, heart sinking, because deep down, he knew this wasn't about questions. This was the start of something much worse. Marcus stood in the center of his small living room, his hands shaking as the police rummaged through his belongings. His son held onto his leg, asking in a whisper, "Daddy, what's going on?" He didn't know. The red and blue flashing lights outside cast a worrisome pallor on their faces. One of the officers displayed a small photo frame. Marcus and Jaden smiling at the park. "You stated you were working, correct?" His tone was heavy with skepticism. The other officer grunted something into his radio, then glared at Marcus as if he'd already been convicted. Outside, the neighbors had congregated. Cameras blazed. Every gaze perceived a headline before they perceived a man. Black man questioned in billionaire attack. They didn't care that he had rescued her. All they saw was what they wished to perceive. Then, as if fate itself was determined to challenge him more, the assistant of the billionaire appeared. She was nodding towards Marcus from the drive. "That's him," she cried. He was there. Her voice broke. but her words carried the force of sentence. Marcus's heart sank. He attempted to speak, but his words were engulfed by the load of accusations. The officers advanced closer. One of them reached for his handcuffs. Jaden shouted, "Don't take my dad!" In that instant, Marcus understood how tenuous truth was, how a life could shatter so speedily under the wrong narrative. His body trembled, not out of guilt, but fatigue of constantly having to establish his innocence in a world that could not perceive it. Just as the cuffs clicked into place around his wrists, a voice sliced through the din weight. It was low but authoritative. Heads turned. A car door opened. The billionaire woman emerged, pale but upright. Cameras turned toward her. She gazed at Marcus, the man who had restored life to her, and whispered, "That's him. He saved me." For the first time in days, there was silence. But it wasn't done, because what followed would determine not only Marcus's destiny, but whether truth still mattered in a world constructed upon prejudice. The succeeding days were like a blur. The video of the arrest of Marcus went viral online, but this time, others perceived something different. They saw the entire truth. A man who had risked everything to save someone who never noticed his color, only his bravery. The billionaire lady had a press conference, and she was shaking as she said, "This man is a hero." The flashes burst, the claps thundered, but Marcus could not smile. Because approval after suffering does not erase the wounds it leaves. He went back home to Jaden, attempting to act as if everything was okay. But the world had already branded him. Some apologized. Others remained quiet. The same neighbors who previously whispered now would not look his way. Forgiveness never was the issue. Trust was. Yet Marcus continued on. He returned to work, hugged his son tightly, and prayed that someday soon, the world would learn to look beyond skin before it was too late. The billionaire provided him with money, a home, a fresh start, but asked for something else. "Just tell them the truth," he said. "That's all I ever wanted." And she did. Weeks afterward, a picture of Marcus and Jaden went online. The caption, "He saved a life." Now, he's showing the world what humanity is like. It went viral, but Marcus knew his was not a special case. For every video that leads to fact, there are many more that lead to silence. He glanced over at his son one evening and leaned in close and said softly, "Perhaps someday you won't have to demonstrate your good. You'll simply be regarded as human." For that is the ultimate query, is it not? How many additional lives, more tears, more tales, before the world will learn to look beyond color and still decide on compassion?